Hello, beautiful people. Psychic Debbie here, hoping you're having a great day or morning or afternoon. And guess who I'm with again? Good old Madison. Woohoo!
Hello.
So this is spiritual talk. Well, what we were gonna call our because we're gonna be doing a lot more videos. So we were gonna call it spiritual. What were we gonna call it?
Two girls in a
Conversation.
spiritual conversation.
Two girls having a spiritual conversation. So
Something
we could
along
say
those
two
lines.
ladies or two
Two
women.
ladies.
Two
I am a
ladies.
lady.
Yeah. Lady. I don't know if people would know that one because of a
I
generation.
don't.
That's my generation. See, two different
Mm,
massive generation because I'm a boomer and you would be considered a what?
I'm right. Oh my God. Get this. I'm right on the line between a millennial and a Gen Z.
Okay.
So I'm right there on
You're on the
the
thing
on the line. So kind of,
because
but
I'm kind of
technically I'm
like
a
at
I'm
the
a
end
Gen
of,
Z.
yeah, I'm at the end of boomer and generation X. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, it's Gen Z for me, but
Okay.
I
So there's a lot of definite. So this is great because I want two different perceptions of it.
which would be,
Okay.
yeah, that I think it's perfect.
Right. So do you have a story of where you think you chose to live or die in this three-dimensional space, or do you want me to give you a story?
You know what? I think I want you to start it off. I do have
Okay.
a story in mind, but I think it's
I
a
have a
little
couple
heavy.
of them.
Let's work to that.
Okay. So I had a near-death experience. I know that. I'll talk about that
Mhm.
a little bit later. We have that on our other video film, so check that out.
Yes.
Conversations with Madison about my near-death. It wasn't the full thing, but that's okay because we can talk about it for years. This other story that I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to put it on my TikTok too, is kind of the spirit told me about this last night. They said, you need to talk about this story, which is really bizarre because we planned to have this talk and they were saying, you need to talk about this.
Is
And
this
what
why you texted me like 3:30 in the morning? You responded to my text?
did I? I don't remember doing that. What did I
Yeah,
say?
well, you said you responded to my text saying, "Yeah, 1 p.m.'s fine." You went the whole
See,
day, so I was like, "I guess we're doing noon still." I don't know. And then
yeah.
at 3:30, I was like, "Okay, no problem."
See, I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's like
So
communication,
funny.
especially when I was trying to take that month break. It's like, nope, you're just gonna rest. Okay, so here's the story. No, I was pregnant with my daughter. So she's 37 now. Okay, so this
Mhm.
was 1985. And I was with my first husband's mom. We call her, it was Grandma Hosey, but I'll just call her Grandma J for Jeanette. Okay. And very, very close to her, very family oriented, da, 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 da. And my daughter was very, very close to her. She passed away a couple years ago, but um, she was just very, very close to our family and very close to my daughter, to the point when I had my son and he had all those medical problems, she basically picked Sophia and helped me raise her. Do you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
my daughter
Mhm.
Sophia is very, very close to her. So, anyways, we're driving down the road, and I want to try to explain this because I mean the reverse thing, but we are driving this way. There was two lanes this way and two lanes coming this way. Okay. We were in
Mhm.
the left lane. So there was the right side, which is
Yep.
connects to the corner. We were in the left lane, and then traffic's coming this way.
Closest to oncoming traffic. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Trying to
Got
explain.
it. Don't worry.
Okay, so we're driving. We were garage sailing for the baby because in
Mm.
Midwest you can get a lot of good deals garage sailing. And a lot
Mhm.
of people garage sale there for like the cabin up north, or you need that extra coffee pot or whatever. And kids go through clothes like crazy, right? So we were garage sailing for clothes for my daughter and things for her. So we're in the left lane to oncoming traffic, and all of a sudden there's a car coming right towards us. It went out of its two lanes and went into our lane to pass two
Wow.
lanes of cars. Crazy.
Wow.
And the guys there was two guys in there, and to this day I know exactly what they look like. They had dark hair, they had skinny face, they kind of look like those twins that do the house renovations, you know what I mean? Is it the Smith brothers or whatever you call them?
Yeah, I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
nice looking guys.
The
They
Property
looked exactly
Brothers. Yeah.
like them. And were they
Maybe it
angels?
was them. Do we
Yeah,
know
who
that it
knows?
wasn't?
In the Midwest, I don't know if they're from.
No, they're actually from Canada.
Canada. Okay. Well,
Mhm.
Canada is close to Minnesota.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But anyways, it was probably angels. Do you know what I mean? Who knows? So they were coming towards us, and me and Grandma J, we instantaneously, I mean, this is happening within seconds, but a lot happened within that second. So
Mhm.
I'm in the passenger seat. I look at her, she looks at me, and I think we were asking ourselves, do we want to live or do we want to die? And literally, I think we were like, oh, like asking each other, or do you want to die or do you want to go? And I believe that my daughter that was in my belly was also choosing to live or die,
Mm.
because I feel that if grandma was going to die, or if I was going to die, she would want to die. I don't think she would
Mm.
want to live. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I
Right.
think all three of us simultaneously was choosing, do we want to live or do we want to die? Okay. So
Wow.
this is all going on within
A
millimeters of second.
millisecond.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just like,
exactly. Yep.
it was so funny because it's like, we slowed down the video of us driving, you would, and I know we saw the guys. I can see the car, I can see the guys, I can see what we were, and it's just like 2 seconds of like, no, I think we want to live, and boop, the car was gone, and it was, and we literally both looked at each other and went, did that? There was a car
Wow.
in our lane, right? And we're like discussing it. Wasn't there a car in our lane? And she's like, yeah, where did they go? And I'm like, that was bizarre.
Wow.
It was like, and then it was like we were silent. The both of us were silent for a while because like, what the frick happened? Because we
Mm.
should have, I mean, there was no room for the car to go veer into the next lane. Do you know what I mean? It was
Wow.
like right in front of us.
Wow.
And Spirit said last night, you get to choose to live or die. Tell them that story. And I completely
Mm.
forgot about that story. It's funny how Spirit, I don't know if you get it or if the people that are watching this have that happen to them, where it's like you remember it but you don't remember it. It's like my near
Mm.
death. It's like I remember it but I don't remember it. And then it's like when you talk about it, then all of a sudden the memories come back in again. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, that's
Mhm.
right, I forgot about that. Da, 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 but you didn't really forget about it. And Spirit
Mhm.
was saying last night, you get to choose. Tell people they
Wow.
get to choose. Your thoughts, feelings, and emotion gets to choose if you want to go through the things that are going on in this 3D dimensional space. And I feel that we need to say that to people because of this ever-changing dimensional space that is changing. Do you know what I mean? I feel like the children that are coming into the world right now, they're okay with it. They don't know the struggle or the thickness that we had to go through. And so that's
Mm.
why I was saying baby boomers to what you are. What are
Mhm.
you saying you are again?
Gen Z, almost
Gen Z.
millennial.
Yeah.
I'm on the cusp. Yeah.
It's like us baby boomers for sure have lived in a thicker dimension, a
Mm.
thicker space. Do you know what I mean? It's not free flowing. It's not as fast. And I feel like that's probably why the world is making like drive-throughs and doing your bills online. It's trying to get us used to that it's okay to have things quick. Do you get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I think
Yes.
it's the
Yes.
whatever you
But
want to
there's a
call
lot
it.
of resistance. But isn't there a lot of resistance from like folks where the energy or that, that space, that time was sticky or it was tough or it was the air was thicker, like what you're explaining? Because I feel like the most resistance we see are from folks. I don't know. I
Right.
want to be careful with my words.
Yeah. But
But do you know what I
it's
mean?
yeah, where they're coming from. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If they're
Mm-hmm.
wanting to give their power away to whatever entities they believe in. Do you know what I mean? Not knowing that no, you are the one that has the power. And that's why maybe a lot of, like I said, entertainment only, and I don't want
Yeah.
politics and debate on here, but
Yeah.
maybe it's like what you believe in
Mm-hmm.
is not being able to be believed in anymore. Do you know what I mean? Because it's in
Mm.
that thick dimensional space
And we're
and it
not
can
in
be
that space
replaced with
anymore.
something else. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Right. Right.
For
I think that's
understanding.
a fascinating, like, because I hear a lot of people say that a lot of the spiritual mentors I follow, a lot of Yeah, thought leaders that I subscribe to talk a lot about that you choose your thoughts, you choose your feelings, you choose your emotions, you choose. You have the power. We manifest everything. We've manifested this moment, and we will manifest our day tomorrow. And we have to take personal responsibility for that. And a lot of people I know, especially I think in social work, where the field that I'm from, they that's contested a lot because sometimes people understand it as like it's being it's dismissing our hardships, or it is invalidating our hardships and experiences and stuff. But the argument that I always come back to is that it's not supposed to hurt or harm anybody. I think when we say that you have to take responsibility for how you got here, it's not to like penalize anybody, but it's to re-empower folks. Because it's saying that you are responsible for your life and the way it is now, but you're also responsible for how you're going to change it. That means that you have power. You might not have known that you had power, and that you're manifesting every day. And so now you manifested a crappy life, but you have power, and that's really liberating.
Yeah, but sometimes that crappy life is to help you with the plan that you chose
Yes.
before you came here. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, yes, let's talk about that.
But one thing that, okay, so we can talk about choice, but let me go back a little bit. People that are baby boomers or even Generation X or whatever will probably go, we didn't get the acknowledgement. So that's why we think our yes or no, because like in my space, or a lot of people that I know, we're like, no, we were told no. So it's like, you need to listen to us. Do you know what I mean? My generation, the baby boomers for sure, and parts of Generation X probably, or maybe other people in other, whatever, doesn't matter, that we didn't get the acknowledgement. We were like, shh, you'd be seen but not heard.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So we thought our choices had to come from a master. We thought it had to come from God, or we had a Buddha, or we had parents, or that we didn't have the power of our own choice. We had to think of their thoughts, feelings, and emotions, but not our own thoughts, feelings, and emotions. We didn't get that acknowledgement. Right. So like with choices, it's like, do we choose or do we not choose? Do you know what I'm saying? Right. And I don't think we realized that we had such empowerment in us until we get older
because it was worked out of you from the very beginning, from childhood of
I'm the one with the power, not you, not the child. Right. So I mean, I say that to my grandchildren when they act up. I'll go, why are you choosing that act? Do you know what I mean? Why are you choosing
I love that. That again, that's a really powerful question, because it's being curious about someone's actions instead of penalizing, instead of that authoritative, don't do this and don't do that. And you're not, I mean, I'm not saying that people shouldn't follow rules or that there shouldn't be some kind of structure, but I love coming from a curious place and just wondering, so what is going on for you there? And then it helps someone connect the dots for themselves.
Exactly. It makes them turn around and go, okay, it's my choice. Like I've said before, and when I used to do shows with Cash Peters, and he used to argue with me about this all the time, but I would say no one can make you think what you're thinking, and no one can make you feel what you're feeling. Nobody can. They could be slapping you and you could say, oh, bless their heart, or turn around and punch them back, right? And I didn't realize that. I don't know if you realize that. I don't know who, but that sentence to me is a very, very powerful sentence. It's like, nobody can make you think what you're thinking or make you feel what you're feeling. And people could go, well, they slapped me, they abused me, Yeah, you could say, I bless you, or I'm going to get back at you. I mean, our family, in an abusive home, and two narcissistic parents in their own way, my brother and my sister and me are completely different people. Do you know what I mean? My brother was following my dad to get that attaboy, that acknowledgement. My sister is mad at men because of how my dad is. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's all in the perception, like a choice. I'm going to be mad at men, or I'm going to follow him to get that attaboy, or I'm going to be on my own and just do my own thing. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's a choice. It's a choice of what is given to you. I'm not saying, if you lost a parent or a friend or not to grieve, or, choosing to be happy or sad. I'm not saying that, but it's your choice how you want to grieve or how you want to be happy or
How you
how
want to
you want
look
to go
at it,
forward, right? It's
how
just
you
like
want to
changing your shirt.
heal.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
There's a lot of choice.
right.
Mhm.
I mean, this is entertainment only. I mean, this is your choice. Again, it's your choice to fight what I'm saying or fight.
Oh, and I'm sure there are people who are going to disagree
Yeah,
with this. I know that there is. I've had conversations enough within the field of social work, and it's not something that I would pressure anybody to think or
right,
feel. This is just, I think, the school of thought that's worked for both of us, it sounds like, or the way that we like to try and think about things. And for me, we've already talked about it, I find it the most liberating. Sometimes I also find it a way to penalize myself and be like, well, if you choose your thoughts, feelings, and emotion, then what the beep? Like, we got to change things, better. And
well,
I'm like,
then
oh,
that's
but
probably the thing where spirit is going, it keeps on hitting you. You're going with
Mhm.
an abusive person, an alcoholic. You keep on choosing alcoholics. You keep on choosing alcoholics. Why are you choosing that?
You
Because
know
there's
what?
something that
Yes,
you
you're
didn't
right,
get
Debbie.
acknowledged for.
You are
Right?
right because and I've told my current partner this. I've been in abusive relationships. I've been in relationships with guys who don't respect me. They don't honor me. It's just bad news bears all the way around. And then I meet my current partner and he is the best. He's the sweetest. And it was rough in the beginning, or it was tough, I should say, to accept that, to accept all of his love, to be comfortable with it. But every day, even though I was like, this feels so wrong because it's so foreign to me that it almost like, oh my, I couldn't handle it. It's hard
Right.
to explain other than like I felt like my whole body and system was overwhelmed. I could not handle it. But I was like, I'm choosing to be with this guy who loves and respects me over some jerk. Even though it might feel more normal and natural and
Right.
real and whatever, I choose this guy. I choose this guy. And slowly that choice becomes a little bit easier every day to make. And then you become excited about. But
Right.
yeah.
Probably to the point that if I'm not saying that you break up, but if you broke up, you're not going to be attracted to that narcissistic, abusive, alcoholic guy
Yeah.
anymore. You'd be like, no, I've
Mm-hmm.
had good. I can get good or even better. Do you know what I mean? You
Mm-hmm.
obviously you are choosing or learning to choose that you're worthy of
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
choice. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes,
It's
yeah.
almost kind of like asking, like I said, you can't think, nobody can make you think what you're feeling or thinking or whatever. Nobody can. Only you can. We are part of one system, so that the vibration off of that is a reaction. Of course, there can be a reaction. Of course there is. But your reaction is your choice also, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
but knowing that you're worthy enough is also a choice too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Choosing that you chose, no, I'm worthy of more. So obviously you vibrationally did something, a thought pattern or positive or doing something, because otherwise you wouldn't have attracted this beautiful being in your life.
I think about that a lot. I'm like, what the hell was I doing to vibrate?
Right.
Because it's like just, yeah, but I do think that I do think about that a lot. And that's how I don't know, that's really helped as well, like my own, I think, spiritual growth and self-love and acceptance and appreciation is by choosing consciously. This was a conscious choice of like, we're going to do this. You like him, he's good, we're doing this, shut up, I don't want to hear anything else.
Pushing him away.
Yes, stop pushing him away, just and
Yeah.
then accept it.
Step
And
back
so
and go,
yes,
why?
and it was real work. It was real work. Like it wasn't easy.
Right, because it was the body of you where the fear, worry, and doubt, and it was common to you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, so
It's
familiar
common
and
to you. So that's, I mean,
comforting
why the
almost.
rich get rich and the poor get poor, or the middle class,
Mm.
because they're common. They don't know anymore. We don't have this rich
Well,
uncle or dad or someone
how
going,
can
this is
you
how money works and this is how a business works and da, da, da.
exactly, because how can you attract something or how can you manifest something that you have no experience with? You
Exactly.
know, I guess a lot of my experience comes from intimate relationships, but it's like, how am I supposed to know? And I've been asking myself, or I have asked myself this a lot with my partner, like, wait, is this normal? Am I asking for too much? is this good? Like, should he be doing more? Should I be doing more? Because I've never seen it modeled before. So it's
Exactly.
all new territory. I'm going in absolutely blind. And I know it seems maybe obvious to a lot of people, but for me, it was not. How do you know how to manifest a rich life when you've been poor your entire life? You don't know anything about it. You're just supposed
Right.
to all of a sudden, and even if you do get money, and there's a reason why so many people who win large sums of money or the lottery, they lose it all and sometimes even go into worse debt afterwards because they don't know how to manage money. They've never had
Or they don't think
money
they're worthy
before.
of it.
They don't think they're worthy
They
of
don't
it.
know how to say, oh, I'm worthy of that. I can have recipients of this money to
Mm-hmm.
continuously be in my life. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's some part of them that thought, oh, I'm worthy of it. But then when they
Mm.
had it, they, like you said, they didn't know what to
I'm
do
not
with
worthy
it.
enough to keep it.
You know, how to ask someone. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the people that are around them don't know how to do it either. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so it's asking and knowing that you're worthy of allowing the money to come to you, worthy that you can keep the money or relationships or whatever. I remember years ago, my first husband, I've been married 3 times. I'm on my third husband, but we've been together for 22
Third
years.
time's a
So
charm.
yeah. And super nice guy, super spoils me rotten. Um, but my first husband, which I was talking about the story, Grandma J, there,
Mm.
I learned from them. I looked at their
Mhm.
relationship. I looked at how they treated each other. And I finally decided to ask people, how did you get that guy? What do you guys do? I would literally say, what do you know, how are you treating your boyfriend? Why is your boyfriend treating you so well? And they would be like, well, I thank him all the time. Or, um, they do one thing and I do another. It's a balance, they'll do the dishes and I'll do the laundry, or, I drive
That's a
and
really
fill up
good
your car.
tip.
So it's kind of like where, asking if you see a couple that you really like how their relationship is, ask them.
That is a
They're gonna be
really
like,
good
damn,
question.
we didn't think our relationship was that good. You know what I mean? They might even say that. They might even say, you know. So
But
you
that's a
can
really
choose
good
to
question.
be in a great relationship, or you can choose to be not in a great relationship. It's a choice.
It is a choice. It is a choice. It doesn't diminish how hard it is sometimes to find a good relationship or the process on feeling well enough or deserving enough to get a good relationship. Like, we're not trying to discount any of that, but I think ultimately it does come down to a choice.
And there can be another
Yeah.
aspect of this, and this is maybe I'm kind of getting too far in deep. If I am,
Nope, nope.
then tell me.
No, you're not.
Spirit just told me right now, because I was going to talk about when I was living in Arizona. I've lived everywhere. I'm like a gypsy. I'm all over the place. So I probably moved 100 times in my lifetime. So, so I was living in Arizona at the time. I was living on my own. I got in a car accident. The person hit me,
Mm.
demolished my car. So I had to drive, and I was working 2 jobs. And you got to remember, I didn't have any family member. I didn't have anything. It was just me and myself. If I needed $5,
Mm.
I had nobody to go to. Right. So
Mhm.
I was working at the Hilton, and I got in the car accident. I would be riding my bike, and it was like in Arizona, it could be like 110, 150 degrees. It was summertime. I'm riding my bike to the Hilton. I worked at the Hilton, which I met a lot of movie stars. And then I also worked at a barbecue place. Okay. And probably because of all the stress and everything, and I still had my tonsils, I passed out at the Hilton. And this is going to sound gross, so plug your ears, but I had goog coming out of my mouth. I had green slime coming out of my mouth because I was infected so much. And I went to the hospital. Someone drove me to the hospital. They had me waiting. And then when I went into the hospital, this is another near-death experience that Spirit said, do you remember this? That was a near death. And I was like, it was? And they're like, yeah, it was.
Mm.
So I went to the hospital, and I'm sitting here waiting, and and this doctor comes out. Here we go again with the doctor comes out and goes, she's not looking good. Bring her into the room. And he lifts up my shirt, and I had a rash all over. I had bright blonde hair because of the sun. I've always
Mm.
been a blonde, but because I worked out in the car wash and the barbecue and the Hilton, I was working 3 jobs. My hair was like white, 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 and I was tan as can be. At that time, was a cool thing. And I turned white, my hair turned brown, And I mean, it was really weird. It was like my
What
hair
the
turned, almost grayish
dark?
brown. It was like an ash color.
Wow.
Doctor's like, okay, something's wrong with her. Screamed at everybody, like, why didn't you bring her in here? So they rushed me in because I was dying, because I had a massive infection in my throat because of my tonsils. They were like ready to explode. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
And
Wow.
so the doctor said, I'll be damned if I'm going to let this girl die on my shift. And why I'm saying that is we choose to, but also other people can choose you to live or die also.
Mm.
And if you are in the same wavelength
Mm.
of wanting to live, and then
Mm.
you're in their same wavelength, so like people that pray over, over people, right?
Mm.
They're like, no, we want you to live. And other people, and I've done a lot of readings where they're like, why isn't my parent dying? They're suffering. And I go, because someone is wanting them to stay. And then they'll say, well, Debbie, you said that they can choose. But I'm like, yeah, but the love for them is part of that choice. Like, okay, I'll stay for them. I don't want to stay for me, but I will stay for them. So how many times have you heard someone, you can say to somebody and go, just whisper in their ear, it's okay for you to pass. So Grandma Jay, her daughter did the same thing. It's like, it's okay, Mom, you can go now. And she passed. Do you know what I mean? So there's choices of you can live and die vibrationally. It could be from someone else too. So like the doctor's like, no, this girl's gonna live. Okay. To the point that, again, I didn't have any family members visit me. I didn't have any I was just by myself. So the doctor came in and said, I made it sure that you weren't going to die, to the point that my fever was so high, they put me in an ice bath. They literally chopped up ice and poured ice in there. And there was a nurse rocking. And I remember waking up and going, what the frick? And she's like, I was so close to death because of my temperature and everything else. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she goes, I'm assigned to you. Because I was just off, you know what I mean? They had me in what do you call it? The IC room or whatever, where you're watching whatever.
ICU?
But yeah,
Intensive
but
care
but
unit?
but they had me in the bath for some reason
Yeah.
for it, because of my temperature.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I remember at that time, I don't have a big as memory as I do with my other near death in 2004. That was
Yeah.
But they were saying, even though I had my intuitive abilities, I was born with it. With this near death that I had in Arizona, it had added up onto it. Do you know what I mean? It was like, nope, you still need to be here. There was a choice, not only for me, but there was a choice of the doctor also. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do. So sorry, to go back to that, when you were saying that it added to it, do you mean it added to your intuitiveness?
Yeah.
Or
I feel like it made it, how could I explain it? It's like gave me more steps into that other realm. Do you know what I mean? So like you could be in say all the dimensional realms is a house. Okay. And maybe I was in the basement and it made me go up into the living room. And then 2004 made me go up to the attic. And maybe if I have another situation, I'm on the roof. And maybe I'm not on the roof, I'm maybe up in the sky. And then the next, whatever, I'm in the stars, or maybe I'm into this other dimensional space. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like,
so did you feel your life shift spiritually, energetically after that near death
well, what
experience in
happened
Arizona?
was, this is what's crazy is, after I had all that, I moved with $20 in my pocket to Minnesota.
Yeah,
So I
I've
had a
heard you
major
say that
shift.
one before.
And
Yeah.
people were like, how in the hell are you going to? And I said, I don't know, but I knew Spirit's going to help me. Just like I had my 2004 thing later on, Spirit telling me do readings and also told me to move to California.
So do you think that if you were not to have that near death experience in Arizona, that you wouldn't have moved to Minnesota?
Probably not. I don't think I would have
Probably
moved.
not. Probably
Because
not.
I was supposed to meet Sophia's father. Do you know what I mean? Because we choose who we're going to be with. And I don't know if I told you that story of my son choosing me, but
yes, I think you've said it before, but
I don't
know
know
if you want to say it
if
again.
I did it on the video or not. So I will talk about it. My son was like 4 years old. No, I don't think he was any older than that. Came in And I was a single mom again by myself. I had my daughter and my son. And he came in and said, I am so glad I chose you to be my mother. And he said that there was 3 circles. And he said they had him see this circle with this mom and what his life would be. And then like I was in the middle, say, and they showed me and what his life would be. And then the next circle with another mom and what his life would be and what his purposes would be. So it's kind of like the spiritual realm, let's put it that way. We don't know exactly how that works, you know what I mean? Said, okay, you got 3 choices here. Which lessons do you want to learn? And who do you want to be by your side while you're learning these? Okay. And he said, I chose you. And he goes, I'm so glad I chose you. And I'm like, bawling, crying.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Just,
So
wow.
because again, here's a choice to live, a choice to die. I mean, and here he was born with massive birth effects. I mean, now he's, this strapping, young, handsome man, but again, choice.
So I have a question then. So,
Okay.
Because I said that once to a coworker. I was like, oh, and I think you were referring to J-Lo and her kids, how her kids didn't want Ben Affleck to be their dad. You mentioned that during a video we did, like celebrities and stuff. You're like, oh, well, I'm hearing that the kids didn't want to be born to Ben Affleck. They didn't want him to be their dad. I was like, wait, what? And you're like, yeah, we choose our parents and we choose. Da, 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 da.
Yep.
And so I said that to a girl that I work with, and she was like, well, that's, she was offended by that comment because we work with a lot of youth. I work with youth who have really horrible family situations and stuff. But I want to ask you, someone who grew up with 2 narcissists, someone who grew up in an abusive household, how is it to have and to know that piece of information that you chose your family, or like, what do you think that you got out of that? What were the spiritual lessons for you?
Well, I chose my mom, who's a liar, right? And super nice to everybody else. Super nice to everybody else. People would go, she's this foreign little sliver, little thing, and with her foreign accent, because she's Dutch. We're from Holland, all from Holland. My mom and dad, brother and sister, were all born in Holland, and she knows what to say. And she was a very, very beautiful lady when she was younger. So she used her beauty, she used her little accent, she used her little, and so, but with her lying to me, like I've said numerous of times that people, that I've said this a number of times, her lying made me hear, smell, and taste what a lie is. So when someone is lying to me, so like if I'm trying to find a missing person or help with a cold case or something, and they'll say, it's this, I'll go, I can hear it, I can feel it, I can smell it, and I can taste it. I'm like, nope, that's not the answer. And they'll be like, no, here's the evidence, Debbie. And I'm like, nope. Kind of like with the girl up in Montana, I said her shoes and socks were off, and they're like, nope, she was fully dressed when we found her, and blah, blah, blah. I said, well, the person took her shoes and socks off, and then they found out down the road that there was pebbles in her shoes and socks. So she did have her shoes and socks off. Well, the person unfortunately murdered her. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like,
and with your dad, I think
with that information, with her lying, I have to thank her. I have to thank her because it's helped me knowing what I feel like it helped me with my intuition. It helped me with my insight. It helped me I picked them just like my father. And it's going around kind of like on TikTok now that you're not people are saying you're not empathic. You just, and I'm saying, no, you are empathic. You just learned from your parents to attune to your intuition a lot more, because I had to, because I didn't know if I was
to survive.
So like I've said numerous of times before, I used to stand in front of the door and to see what mood my dad was. And I could feel through the door if he was in a bad mood or in a good mood. So that, because of that, is helping me, which helps me with my insight, which helps me help the people that I'm working with. Do you know what I mean? And then, and you'd be surprised how many people will fight me and go, no, Debbie, you're so wrong. You're so wrong. You know what I mean? I'm like,
I'm not surprised.
Now I just don't even fight them. I go, okay, whatever. I am not going to meet that guy. I'm not going to move to that coast, or I'm not going to I am not, there is no way in hell I would do that. Like, okay, And then months later, they write back and go, sorry. Yeah, I did exactly what you thought. You know what I mean? It's like, so, and am I 100%? No, because I'm in the 3D dimensional space, but 85%, 90. Yep. There's times where I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
and that's because of my parents, because of, I've had to live 15, 16 years of that conflict. I moved out when I was like 15, 16. They went on a vacation and I moved out. So, and I never came back. I didn't go to them.
There's a psychologist that I forget her. I think it's Laura. I don't know her name, but anyways, there's a psychologist that I really love who, and I've mentioned her before, I think was in our last video. She experienced her son died from a drug poisoning. And anyways, she talks about a lot of, different theories, or like, I don't know, subjects that could be really triggering and really upsetting to a lot of people. And one of them is spiritual contracts and choosing your parents and choosing, and just like, and she talks about it in her own podcast, that she's like, well, you chose your parents for your own spiritual wounds, and I chose mine, and trust me, they gave me enough. So it's like acknowledging and again, always like having this choice. And I guess it's trying to find the lesson out of any situation, be it a beautiful situation or really tough, challenging, sticky, ugly situation. Like it's trying to learn from that, I think, for your own spiritual growth and development.
Right. Also, we choose our grandparents, we choose our family. It was funny because I had my beautiful friend Hannah kind of do a little bit of my astrology, not like prediction.
But cool. Yeah.
And there was two things that really, she's like, oh my God, you hardly have any planets in all this area. It was just like, I only had planets in like 3 different areas and the rest were empty. She goes, oh my God, you have nobody. You have no mentors. You have nothing on here. There's nothing. And I said, yep, that's how my life is. So it's even in the stars that it was saying you're not going to have, because my grandparents were in Holland. So I didn't have the grandparent come over and hug me and make baking and, have the recipes and I didn't have that, right? I didn't have it on both sides. My father would argue with his brothers and sister. My mom's sister lived in New Zealand, her brother lived in Holland. So I didn't have any aunts and uncles, right? So my dad's aunt and uncles, yes, but they got in such massive fights that we never connected with the family anymore because of my dad's personality, right? They're like, we don't want this destructive man in our world. So it's even in my chart. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's even in my chart. What's also in my chart, which was my Neptune, is in a water sign. My Neptune. So no wonder I want to be in the ocean. You know what I mean? So Hannah's like, oh, no wonder you like fricking the ocean. You know what I mean? It was like in Pisces or something. And she's like, damn, girl. It was just like ocean, water. That's it for me. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I feel like I resonate to water, ocean, crystals, things like that. So it's the overall, whatever perspective you want to look at it is, our choice, but our grandchildren choose us too. Our children choose us too. And we choose our children and we choose our grandchildren. So it's a whole thing, it's kind of like they showed it to me like it's like an airport. You got all these different planes. Do you know what I mean? And is that plane going to land in there and then take off? And that plane comes in and comes from me and takes off, and I'm learning from them and they're learning from me. So there's stuff coming in and stuff going out, stuff coming in, stuff going out, stuff coming in, stuff going out. It's not just one stream. It's not just one level. It's coming from all different dimensional spaces. When I had my near death, they brought it, they said it was infinity.
Yes.
But it was coming in all different ways. Yeah. You know what I mean? That we're getting the information. So I feel this is for me, and maybe other people resonate with it or maybe they don't. But when I get my downloads, like texting you at 1 o'clock in the morning, 3:30 in the morning. Sorry. And I really don't remember. But anyways, it's like,
that's hilarious.
Downloads is I feel like it's the spiritual realm or the truth of who I am. My what people say is your spirit guide, which is really you in a higher realm looking down going, oh, remember. So I feel like the downloads is a remembering of like, oh, you need to do this, or you need to say that. Probably us saying this, doing this video. Yeah, there could be 100,000 people that don't like it, but there could be 100,000 people that need to hear it.
It's for, yeah, I think about that a lot. I'm like, there's always, I do. And that's what, like, because I think a lot.
Well, I'm glad you think a lot.
Let me explain that. So I have a tough time sometimes like embracing, like I think and I worry a lot about what other people think about me and judgment. And I get worried about that. And sometimes I can feel really suppressed, really heavy with those kind of emotions and fears and thoughts. And then sometimes also it'll hit me like, okay, well, I follow that person and I would never do that because I'm embarrassed, but I really like what they have to say, like with astrology sometimes, or with predictions. And it's like, well, I would feel embarrassed if I did it because what if I were wrong? Or what if I said that was wrong? Whatever. I'm like, but I follow these people and they do a great job. And also, it's not for the people who don't like it. It's for the one person who does. It's for that one person who's going to hear something and it'll matter to them and it'll, and it'll cause that ripple effect or whatever. It's for the people who do want to hear it and who do want what we have to offer, or the very highest truth of who I am. Like it's not for the people who are haters or who don't care or turned off by what I have to say. And that goes for everybody.
And a lot of it is, are you worthy, or are you worthy? Or are you ready to hear what you need to hear, or other people are ready for what you hear? And if they're not ready for it, or they don't like that message,
they won't hear it.
They're going to fight it.
Yes. They either won't hear it or they'll fight it. Oh, they'll fight it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, I mean, I could, years ago, we went to this, I was with friends. I'm not friends with them anymore, but a friend and her daughter. And we went to this other psychic and I thought, okay, because us psychics don't get readings, right? Nobody tells us stuff. They'll go, well, I think, I'm like, okay, forget it, and we can't do it for ourselves because we're learning these lessons, right? And so we went to the psychic and she kept on talking about how Elvis, she could have done a reading for Elvis, but her husband didn't let her, again, a choice. And she did a reading for the girl, the younger girl. But then for me and my friend, she was so off. It was like, saying that me having blonde hair, like you have brown hair and you're 5'1" instead of 5'7", you know what I mean? It was like, and I asked her, I said, what do you think? And she's like, well, I'll go in there and see if maybe it's just you, Debbie, because nobody can read you, which I have a hard time people reading me. And I think it's because the intuition or the vibration or like, they can't see the truth or whatever. And other psychics have that same problem. She went in there, it was the same thing. So it's almost like saying their prediction was right for her, but it wasn't right for me or my friend. Do you know what I'm saying? So here it was the choice of to believe that or not to believe that. But my friend, even to this day, and this was like 20 years ago, she's like, no, she was the best reading I've ever had. And we're both like, what the frick? It was the worst reading I ever had. So, I mean, it's what you want to connect to or what you're ready to hear, or are they vibrationally in the same space as you are too? Do you know what I'm saying? That's why with the choices like you saying, oh, I don't know if I should do readings or if I should do predictions, because someone's not going to like it. Believe me, honey, no one's going to like it. Okay. I mean, I did a prediction of, and say an example of like, the cryptos are going to go down. They did go down. And I was telling people, this was like May. I'm like, it's going to go down. Get your money out, get your money out, get your money out. And people are like, wasn't believing me. And I say it was going to be May 10th or something. Right. I literally had people come up to me and write and say, it wasn't May 10th. It was May 12th. So you're wrong. And I'm like,
you're the worst psychic ever. You're like,
yeah, you're not a psychic because you didn't have the exact date. So they're going to find that fault in it no matter what. Do you know what I'm saying? So you have,
because that's the vibration that they're at.
You have to choose. Am I okay that people are going to fight against me? Yes, they are going to fight against you. We're not in the
No.
is space that I talk about. That's left and right, up and down, wrong and right. There's
Yeah,
no
'cause it-
judgment.
yeah.
Okay. This is at a judgmental space. And we're learning about judgment because we're trying to release judgment to get peace. Right. So we're all learning lessons of judgment. Do I judge? Of course I do. Do you judge?
Yeah.
Of course you do. We're in this 3D dimensional space. There's people, there's news anchors. I'm like, I can't stand listening to them. Do you know what I mean? I won't watch a channel because
Lenny.
or something. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's probably the best news channel in the world or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Or I won't go to this because of one person. That's a choice. Again, choice of going or not going.
Yeah.
To learn that lesson or not to learn that lesson. Do you know what I mean?
I do. I do.
So that's your choice. Are you in fear? Are you choosing fear instead of taking the leap of faith? You're choosing fear right now.
Yeah. And I think I have been for a long time. I think I still am. But I will say, and everything I relate to, it has to do with like my intimate partner and relationships, because a lot of my growth happens there. But my partner is on his own growth and his own path right now, so much where he's like, he really doesn't give a rat's about what anybody thinks about him. He so goes to like the beat of his own drum. And I love that about him. And it makes me I don't want to use the word jealous, but it makes me almost like, it creates a gnawing feeling in myself of, oh, I want to do that too.
But you're choosing to feel.
I know, but what I'm saying is that like, I feel like either we will both continue, or like, I'll learn how to do that and I'll catch up to him and that's how we'll be. Or I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what, and that kind of freaks me out. I'm like, oh no, I wonder what's going to happen if I can't be in the confidence and the truth of who I am. I think about that and I get a little worried.
But that you are being in the truth of who you are, whatever you're choosing. When you're choosing not to do it, you're in the truth of who you are. If you're choosing to do it, you're in the truth of who you are.
Interesting. That is interesting.
That makes you think, right?
That does make me think.
You're making a choice. Someone's saying, I'm not choosing right now. I say to that person, you are making a choice. You're making a choice not to do that. It's like,
enough about me.
I'm not ready to make that choice. Say it's like getting married or something. I'm not ready to get married. Well, you're choosing not to get ready to be married. It's not that it's not like there's this wall.
But isn't it sometimes okay? Isn't it sometimes okay just not to be ready and not to want to?
Well, that's your choice.
Yeah. But it's okay as well.
Well, is it okay? Because that's a choice too, to say it's okay.
Be okay with it or not? Oh, you're so funny. Isn't it okay? Well, that choice is up to you.
That's right, because it's another choice. It's your choice to say, oh, I'm beautiful, or your choice to say I'm not beautiful. And my choice is to go with the naysayers or to choose to go with the people that are positive. I mean, it's like, I don't know if you've been listening to my Tuesday live shows, but people have been 90% of the people have been very, very, very cordial to me and because I was I don't know if you heard, because I was like, okay, we've been talking about it too, about doing Patreon or whatever. And you wouldn't believe how many people are like, that's ego and you're being selfish and you're being
right.
Okay, that's a choice. I just got a message on someone saying, well, this psychic's got 60,000 subscribers and they're not asking for money. And I'm like,
oh, F off.
But that's their choice.
Yeah.
But they are making money because they're getting readings and they're probably getting paid from YouTube. And I mean, I could go on and on and on. They're probably getting some money somehow. Yeah. But I'm just doing it in a different way. And the way I'm asking to do it is not going with you. And I notice the people that are saying do it for free are the ones that are like, but I can't afford it. Or they're saying it's a gift. You know what I mean? It's a gift that you should be doing that. Do you know what I'm saying? Well, Mariah Carey is a gift. I think Michael Jordan should be paid, but I just don't want to get into that rant, right? But it's like a choice to listen to the naysayers or choose to listen to the people that uplift you. Because I have beautiful, beautiful people that uplift me. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes I need a reminder too, because I'm not perfect.
Yeah, of
Sometimes I need a
course.
reminder of, maybe that's why spirit is saying, had me say, this, or it's like, I like some, try to maybe do Patreon, so that I would get some of this accolade that I needed. The body of me, or the spirit of me, needed some of this acknowledgement, because we all want acknowledgement. We all want acknowledgement. We all want to be honored. We all want to be respected. And even if we're choosing to live or to die, or to go this way or to go that way, we want people to acknowledge that, right? We want people to honor our choices. And so, like, where you're saying, I should I do readings, or should I or not do readings, or do predictions or not predictions, because what if I'm wrong? But that's a choice. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if all mine, how many times have you heard me say, I hope I'm wrong, when I do a prediction?
Often.
How many times have I said,
Yeah.
I hope this is what they showed me, and God, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And people will go, I've never heard a psychic go, I hope I'm wrong. But I'm like, because that's what got downloaded to me. And it was my choice to announce it to the world. But sometimes the choice is like, oh God, I hope that choice is, I hope that doesn't really happen. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes it didn't happen, but other times it did happen. Do you know what I'm saying? Is in the vibration of it. But it's my choice to see it or not see it. So it's kind of like, if I do a prediction of my beautiful peeps will sit there, like, say, I said I saw two planes, or two things colliding with each other, and then someone wrote to me through my DM, like Facebook DM, and said, well, there was two helicopters that crashed, maybe that's what you saw. And I think, thank you, I didn't hear about it. Do you know what I'm saying? Or if I predicted that there's flooding in Australia, well, I'm not going to hear it over here in the States, or if there's something happening in England or Africa.
Yeah.
And so other people will tell me about it. And I think that's beautiful, because I'm not in that vibration to hear about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
it does.
Your choice, even though sometimes choosing to live or to die, or to go forward or to stay back, it's all a choice. It's all a choice. But other people's choices can be in the mix of it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like where the football player just got hurt and boom, right? And I heard, and I'm not saying this is facts, but I heard they had to resuscitate him twice, one on the field and one in the ambulance, right? So there was choice there. But between the time he fell and they resuscitated him and the time that he got in the ambulance, there was a lot of choices there. People were praying over him. They were, choosing that he lives. Then it was, and then people were saying, oh, he could have brain damage. So there was a choice there. Am I going to come back happy, healthy, whole, and complete? Or am I going to come back with things that I'm going to have to work on? And that's going to be his choice. Do you know what I mean? I would love to talk to him, because I bet you he had probably a near death, and, and he probably is not going to tell everybody, or maybe he will, who knows? Again, that's his choice. Right. But maybe with him living and being in that space, the people that were praying for him needed that prayer to be answered for something in their lifetime. Maybe he chose to have this situation happen in his chart, because look at hundreds of thousands of people were praying, or, chanting, or and maybe it gave some resolution, or some kind of faith, not religion faith, but faith in someone else, like, oh, he could do it, I can do it too. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do understand that.
So our choices aren't always, it's never just about us. You choosing not to do the readings is not just your choice.
I think.
Oh, she's gonna fight me. Well, let me.
No, I'm not going to fight you. No, I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to fight you. Is that me fighting you by saying I'm not going to fight you? I don't know.
No, that's a choice.
I was going to say, because I've been thinking about this. When I learned it, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And that puts like things into context a little bit for me. When I was looking at my astrology chart a little bit, I saw that my I could get the nodes wrong, but I think it's my south node is in Pisces and my north node is in Virgo. It could be the other way around. I'm 90% sure. I don't know. But meaning that like and it's so funny because you told me this. And then I found out later that it all connected. I'll get to that. That I've had, you said that I was on my last life. Should I say this out loud? I don't know. I kind of want to keep it close.
Okay. You don't have to.
Anyways, I'm very emotionally, I've had many lives emotionally, apparently.
Right.
And what it said in astrology is that I am in my south node is in Pisces. So that's where I feel the most comfortable. That's either where I've had a lot of previous lives, or that I've spent the majority, or I've spent like the beginning half of my life in Pisces, meaning like, wait, you know about Pisces, like it's like spirituality, the unknown, the like
Water.
introspection, water. It's all about like emotions and
Right.
that spiritual,
Insight.
like,
Yeah.
yes, insight. It's stuff that it's intangible. Like you can't,
Right.
it's that world. And my life's purpose is to move into Virgo, which is structure, which is planning, which is following through, order, earth.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so funny to me because I got it once you told me that, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then reading it through astrology, I'm like, oh, so this is, I feel like a common theme throughout my life is feeling so much comfort and wanting to resort back to the introspection, the alone, the hermit, like,
right,
whatever. And then knowing that I have to get out of my comfort zone and get into the Virgo space, get into the order,
and again,
the structure.
choices. So you in this lifetime is going to be given choices. Do you want to be there or do you want to go there? You know what I'm saying? And when you talked about, it's almost like you coming out of water, like Little Mermaid, being a mermaid. And I know I was a mermaid in a past life. Whatever creature was that, because I love the water so much. That's why when that guy said, every day is a great day going in the water, I'm like, yes, I resonate to that. But anyways, it's like you being the Little Mermaid, learning how to get on legs. Do you know what I mean? The wholeness of you is there, but it's like you're getting rid of the fish, and you're learning to walk again. And so all these things in your life, and again, choices. Do I want to walk with these legs, or do I want to go revert back to the ocean where I'm comfortable and secure? Do you know what I mean? Because I know who I am in that space. But if you're choosing to live by getting onto the land and learning through these lessons, and so your partner, your beautiful partner, your handsome partner is saying, I'm not letting things affect me emotionally. He's showing you how you can walk on your two legs and being in the truth of who you are. Do you know what I mean? Without having other people affect you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So that's what you're learning. So like I'm learning from you and you're learning from me. Do you know what I mean? It's
always
like my perception of life, like I said, because I was in the don't be heard, don't be seen, everything's no. So it's like sometimes I'm just like, I'm not even going to do it because I was always told no all my life. Right. So for me, I'm just using me as an example. It could sound egotistical, but me doing readings and getting out of the workforce and starting to do these things where in its spaces, people, places, and things that didn't believe in it. And I'm like, I don't care. I have to do it. Do you know what I mean? I have to do it because I know it's part of me. Just like you choosing, I have to do this. So maybe this isn't the right time, because I feel like if you're going to get to a space where you're like, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm going to do readings, or I'm going to do astrology, or I'm going to
I think so too.
Predictions, or you're going to get that into you.
I think so too.
It's going to make you choose yes or no. It's kind of like relationships. I'm the kind of person, unfortunately, if you're my friend or you're my lover or whatever, I would never do it with my kids. I would never do it with my grandkids. But I mean, it's like, if I'm done, I'm done. I choose, I'm like, I'm done. And people could jump up and down. They could have a gold butt. They could give me a golden egg and I'd be still like, nope. Because I'm adamant. When I'm choosing, I'm choosing. You know what I'm saying? So when you get into that space of choosing for yourself, no, I'm worthy of a great relationship, or I'm worthy of this money, or I'm worthy of this health, or I'm worthy of this lover. Do you know what I mean? That's a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a
It
choice.
is.
You're
I
making a
think,
choice.
and I want to hear what you have to say, but I think that, and I also think that you're right. I think I will get to a point or a space where I'm
You're
just
just gonna
like,
go, I don't care.
enough's
Just
enough.
do
I
it.
don't give yeah, because that it's happened
I don't
enough
give a
as
rat's
well.
ass. Where did that phrase
Yeah.
come from? Rat's ass. I don't give a rat's
I don't
ass.
know, but I love it. um, I think that, and I believe, I think that you'll agree with me on this one, is that a lot of people don't make the choice that they know eventually will cause a lot of good for them or help them evolve or whatever because of fear.
Yes. Everything is fear,
Mhm.
worry, and doubt. And that's the body
Mhm.
of you. I'm always talking about that fear, worry, and doubt is the body of you. It's
Can you
not the
talk
truth of
more
you.
about that? Can you talk more about that? So what do you mean by like the body of us? Like it's like, because the spirit of us knows the truth. You've
Right.
said that before. And the body of us, you mean like the memories, like it stores all of the reasons why
Yeah. Where
fear is.
the body is stored, this thickness, because when we pass, which I was seeing in my near death, in a couple of my near deaths, but big
Mhm.
one in 2004, was we are not the body. This is
Mhm.
just it's almost kind of like the spirit is a battery.
Mhm. Okay.
Do you know what I mean? And you're and the
Yeah.
flashlight. Do you know what I mean? To turn the
Yep. Got
flashlight
it.
on. So everybody's like, oh no, you're the light. But the spirit is really the battery.
Interesting. Okay.
That's the
Okay.
body. If we take the spirit out, you can't
Mm,
light anymore.
mm,
Right? So the fear, worry, and doubt, the choice choosing is from fear, worry, and doubt, is because, like you said, I'm afraid of what my parents are going to say, or I'm afraid what society is going to say. That's not your stories.
mm,
Fear, worry, and doubt is inconsistent of stories that we were told that was the truth, but isn't the truth for our spirit. Okay.
mm. Yeah.
For our spirit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of um, like I love water and my husband likes the mountains, right? So if he wants to pick a place, it would be the mountains. I would pick the water. Do you know, I'm not saying you wouldn't like the ocean, but you know what I'm saying? It's like if we had a choice. So living in the mountains by the water would be the perfect place for us, right?
Mhm.
So it's the spirit of us is all truth. It has no judgment. None. Zip Zula. You just had an oracle right behind you. That was cool. But anyways, so people go back and look, and you're right there by your TV, or just kind of think. But anyways, squirrel. Anyways, our fear, worry is the body of us. So this is where we're learning the
Mm.
lessons. This is where we're
For the
learning
body.
to not have judgment.
Mm.
Okay, we come into this 3D dimensional space so that we learn about peace. We learn
Mm.
about grace. We learn about our spiritual power. Do you know what I mean? And if we had no judgment, I'm not saying perception. People go, well, what judgment is judging if we're going to go into that hot fire or not. I go, that's a perception of like, do I need to go in there or not to go in there? Judgment of I hate you, I don't like you, I do like you, I don't like you, is a judgment space. Nobody has that judgment. If we were just is like a tree or a flower, it's not
Mm.
judging, it's not competing the next flower next to it. That's being in the
Mhm.
is space.
Mhm.
So the body of us is consistent of numerous of lifetimes and this lifetime of the fear, worry, and doubt. And we are learning with each lifetime to release that fear, worry, and doubt, and release the judgment so that we can be in peace. Right. So
Mhm.
like people meditate, what are they doing? They're in peace. They're not judging.
Mm.
They're not judging.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite quotes, and like, I don't know, I've heard, we're spiritual beings having a human experience.
Right.
And so that I feel like speaks to what you say a lot of the time, is that the spirit of us knows the truth. Like it's the body of us. It's the body of us that holds the fear, the worry, the doubt. That's the human part of us.
Right.
And we're not trying to make it so that we never have any of that, but it's working through it, I
And
think.
this is my opinion. This is
Okay.
my thing, because people are gonna fight this. They're gonna fight a lot of this anyways, but it doesn't matter.
Let's hear it. Oh, I can't
Um,
wait.
yeah, fight me. Now I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, so people would say, "Oh, that's a lie if you can't remember." No, it just went through me. I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry. It just
Oh, no,
really
it's okay.
blanked my mind. See, that's what I mean. They download it to me and then it's like, I better catch it or otherwise I lose it. But just keep on going.
Okay, yeah, no worries. No
Huh?
problem.
Yeah, I don't know what they were saying to me and it just went through my brain. I'm completely lost. But it's the spirit of us is the truth of us. Like I said, it's the is space. And it's in just learning to be in that space of the wholeness of us, that love. You hear a lot of people having near deaths that they're saying that love. I can't explain that love. I can't explain that space. I can't explain the wholeness of it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I can't explain, like this bird I have behind me. If you're listening to this on Spotify, I have like a dove flying in the air in the clouds, and that to me is like spirituality. It's like freeness and there's no boundaries. And I feel like that's the spirit of you. There's no boundaries. There is no yes, no, whatever. There is no boundaries that you can expand to multitude of universes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like people that bring that fear, worry, and doubt to you are trying to create boundaries for their boundaries to make them comfortable. Does it make sense?
Absolutely.
And then if you're a loving being, which a lot of us are, I would say 99% nine of us are loving beings. We do think of other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions too. So we are choosing, oh, well, I really want to buy that dress. I'm thinking of my son's wedding. Okay. So maybe I'm buying that dress for them, but not for me. Do you know what I mean? Which is okay. I mean, that's a choice again, right? Or choosing to marry that person. How many times have you heard people be at the altar going, I know I shouldn't be marrying this person, but they're like, well, we got the honeymoon already paid for. We got the church paid for. We got the dress and paid for. And that, again, a choice. And then because the choice wasn't right, they fight for years or just a couple months or numerous of years, right? Or having a child. It's like Elon Musk's mom talked about that, where Elon Musk's father is very abusive, was not a good life. And I think that helped with his intuition too. When I was listening to that conversation where she said, the guy was and she's like, no, I don't want to marry you. But then he went around and got her whole family going against her. Like, why aren't you marrying this guy? He's, rich and he's good and he's this and that. And she's like, well, I don't want to marry him. But because everybody else said you need to choose to marry him, she married him. And then and he's like, oh, I will stop abusing you after we get married. Well, it got worse. Right. So again, she chose because of other people. But maybe that was the plan for Elon Musk, to his mind capacity, to get into his mind and get into that daydream space to invent whatever he's invented. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying I like Elon Musk or I don't. I'm just using it as an example.
I didn't hear any of that.
Why use him? But I'm just using it as an example of there's that choice, right?
Yeah, I didn't hear any of that in your speech.
Maybe if the mom chose not to marry because he would have a different father, there would be no Elon Musk.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I think about that a lot. I do think about situations like that a lot. Like, I don't know, I guess learning how to bless the situation that you're in anyway and trying to find the quote good in it. Although I don't always love using that word good or bad, but finding something that you can take and
And what?
I don't even know how to continue after that. Learning how to take the lessons from a situation and learning it for your highest good and for your highest self.
Right.
I'm curious because I know we wanted to keep this to an hour.
But it's over an hour. So
is it over an hour?
Yeah, it's already 2:14.
Oh,
we started at around 1. So that's why I'm saying let's do it for another 15 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, I have one question, and this is for my own curiosity's sake, and I'm wondering if anyone else is curious. You said that we're all comprised of a numerous of lives and different How many lives are we comprised of?
Well, Spirit is showing me this, and I think there could probably be even more, but And I
Mm.
want to write a book about this, and I really want to do a
Please.
video about this, but I'm just going to do a really soft, fast
Okay.
explanation of this. Like what I was telling you, I probably looked up that you are living an emotional life. There's 4 columns of lifetimes. Okay. So
Mm.
there's the emotion one, which to me is like heart chakra, learning about love, learning about being sensitive. A lot of empathic people are in the emotion lifetime, and
Mm.
you can have up to, doesn't mean you're going to, but you can have up to 13 lifetimes of learning of
Mm.
that. You could be on your first, second, third, fourth, fifth, second, 10th. That after the 10th one, the 11th, 12th, and 13th are choices. If you massive choices, if you still want to, because the 11th, 12th, and 13th lifetime of that emotion can be very difficult, or it's going to take all those other lifetimes, those 12 lifetimes, and put it all in this lifetime. And it's like a boom, 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 learning, right? So
Mm.
I know this is going to be kind of a squirrel comment, but I notice I would really like to learn how to read palms. Okay. And if you
Mm.
notice, my hand has a lot of lines on it, right?
Mm.
So that's probably a lot of lifetimes. Okay.
Mm.
If you look at my
Yeah.
lifeline, there's a lot of lines through it and a lot of I mean, there's so,
Yeah.
and then I look at other people's and it's almost clear, it's flat in their life. And I look at their life and it's been pretty smooth. And I'm not saying that a lot of things,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I know there was a lot more. And there's probably someone else that has their hand, and I'd look at theirs and it's like numerous, even more than mine. And mine has a lot. Look at it. It has a lot of life.
Mm-hmm.
People can read line, you know what I mean? I have a double fate line, and you know,
I don't have many ish. My lifeline's also really short, but I don't want to talk
yeah,
about
mine is,
that.
look at how deep it is and all that stuff. And I notice like people that are movie stars or whatever, I look at their lines to see, or even presidents, or you know, and
Mm-hmm.
their lines are really deep and da 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 da. So it's like it's choosing like the 11th, 12th, and 13th lifetime of the emotion, choosing to learn all those lessons. Okay. So there's the emotion one, there's a
Mm-hmm.
perception one where you're perceiving the world, how to perceive the world. A lot of
Fascinating.
perceiving people are protesters, or want you to see the
Mm.
other side of the moon, or look at things in a different spiritual space, or da da da.
Mm.
So there's the perception one. Then there's the one of love. And
Oh.
people will go, oh, I want to be in the love one. No, because a lot of times the love one could be that you lose a lover, or you
Oh.
lost your whole family and you had to learn how to
Mm.
grieve, or how to learn how to love in that space. Do you know what I mean? Or
Mm.
that you're in the love thing and you're doing a lot for the world. You know, you're teaching the
Mm.
world how to love. It could be a monk
Mm.
that's like, oh, I'm teaching you to love
Wow.
yourself, or be in that space. Or it could be Dr. Bill, or it could be Dr. Drew, or whoever all these people are. You know what I'm saying?
Fascinating.
Um, so perception people. Okay. And then
Mm.
there's the love people. And then there's, and this is the column I'm in, the truth and foundation. Okay. So you're
Mm.
trying, it's kind of like a root chakra. So like the perception one would be like the third eye and heart chakra. The emotion would be mostly the heart chakra, mother love. Okay. Love again would be the heart chakra, but it would also be the sacral chakra. Okay. Love, the love would be like your heart chakra, your sacral chakra, and your solar plex,
Mm.
because a lot of times love has to deal with family. And the solar
Mm-hmm.
plex, to me, this is my perception. This is what spirit is showing me when I read someone's aura, and there's a lot of yellow in there. I'll go to them and go, oh, you're having a lot of problems with family. And you would be surprised. 99.9 of them are like, yeah, how did you know? Like, you got a lot of yellow and you're losing your power and,
Mm.
and family dynamics. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so mine is the root chakra foundation.
Mm.
Okay. Like I just said, I moved 100 times. So I'm learning to have a foundation, have family. I didn't have family, right? Hannah said, oh my God, you don't even have mentors. You don't have anything in your chart
Yeah.
that you're here by yourself. So I'm learning truth, which spirit told me I'm supposed to help people with their truth. And I'm learning how to create a foundation. I don't know how to have a foundation. I don't know how to have a
Mm.
family. I don't know how to sit still. I'm always
Mm.
constantly moving. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I'm going
Yeah.
to move from where I'm at now. Yeah, put
Yeah.
another one on there, and I'll probably move
Yeah.
from there. Do you know what I mean? if I'm living until I'm in my 90s, I'll probably move quite a few times before I'm in my 90s. Well, you get the other people that are, lived in a house for 50 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like my husband's parents.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So there's
do.
these lifetimes that you're learning these lessons in.
So are some people who have like their greatest, how do I explain this? Like, do you have to have many lifetimes in order to be like, I don't want to say good
You can
word.
have one lifetime, or you can have again, choice.
Choice. Yeah.
You're
Fascinating.
choosing before you even come into this earth plane or whatever plane you're going to live in. You're going to choose the lessons that you're wanting to learn, or you're choosing that and or helping other people with their choices. Do you know what I mean? How many times have you heard where say like an actor, that their parents were actors too, but because of them acting and them taking them to the theater or taking them to this or taking them to that, it put that acting bug in them. Do you know what I'm saying? So they chose to be in acting, even though they didn't become famous, but the child became famous because the parent was, or I mean, look at the Jackson Fives. Look at Michael Jackson. It was their dad's choice. And I guess he did it in an abusive way. Unfortunately, I'm sorry for that. But if their dad wasn't like, nope, fix it. No, it's got to be better. Michael Jackson wouldn't be Michael Jackson. There was the pain for the gain kind of thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The lessons on learning that. But Michael Jackson treated his children with kid gloves and spoiled them and loved them and completely the opposite. That's what I say to my daughter. I said, I had the abuse, I hope, mentally, physically, and And, I think I did stop the abuse with me. So that my grandchildren don't get the abuse.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You made the choice to stop it, to end it with you.
I had a choice. If I didn't stop it, then it would have been my kid's choice. And if it's not my kid's choice, then it would have been the grandkid's choice. So everything's about choice. Choice of living or dying or choosing what
You've done a really great job at bringing it back to the topic, because I'm let me reel you back in.
Reel it back in, baby. But that's the choice. It's all around choices. Do you know what I mean? Everything is a choice. So it's almost, here's a good exercise I want people to do. It's like, say you're wanting to choose to do readings or doing horoscopes or doing astrology. Let's say, let's pick astrology. Okay. Because I'm not an astrologer, so that they don't think, oh, okay. So it's like, write down all the reasons, like write down 25 reasons of why you would like to do astrology. It makes me feel good. I like to know the future. I like to help out my friend. It could maybe even save someone. It could help them. I loved figuring out puzzles or whatever. Write down 25 reasons why being an astrologer would be good for you, not anybody else. Nobody else could be, my partner likes it, or a mentor, or, I follow some famous astrologer and and I want to be them. Because you can't be them. They're them. They're good at them, and I'm good at me. You're good at you. Do you know what I'm saying? And then write down 25 reasons why you shouldn't.
Ooh, interesting.
And then read them out loud and feel in your spirit and in your body which one resonates with you.
I was like, you're going to get a lot from that, from reading both and feeling like, well, is that really a good reason why I don't want to do that?
Exactly.
And because that reason why I do.
So like if you were writing 25 reasons not to, fear. Well, what's the fear? Well, society. Are you in fear of the society? I mean, you could just keep on going and going and going and going.
Oh, yeah.
Just keep on asking why.
That's a beautifully introspective exercise. I think that's really great. Yeah. Wow. That's really good. And I think that might be a good note to end on.
Okay. So beautiful people, we are going to do some more topics. If you want, whatever topic you want us to talk about, put it down in the comments. If you've had a story of where you had to choose between life and death, or choose this or choose that, it's kind of like the movie Sophie's Choice. I don't know, it's not a good movie, but sad. But you know what I mean? She has to choose if to save that child or that child. That'd be really bad. So I want you to choose you.
Me?
I want you to choose you. I want you to choose the people that are listening. I want you to choose you. And we have been taught not to choose ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I want you to choose yourself, to live or to die. You can be alive and still be dead.
Yeah.
You could be alive and be alive.
Yeah.
This isn't just the physical aspect that we're talking about. We're talking about the spirit and the truth of who you are. Do you want to live for other people, or are you living for yourself? And I get it. Sometimes it's hard because you got your kids and you got your grandkids, which is even a stronger love. You'll never know the love of a grandchild until you have a grandchild. Do you know what I mean? And if other people are like, I'm not really into it and I'm not into my grandchildren, well, then that's, then maybe you have a love somewhere else. But like I've said this numerous of times, and it's probably like, okay, Debbie, we've heard this story, but I love the t-shirt that says, if I knew grandkids were so much fun, I would have had them first. Right? So
that is so cute.
No. They are. It's just like, yeah, I love them. Even the ones that, call me a poopy head witch, I love them. It's just, that's that choice. Do you know what I mean? It's like choosing with joy and choosing with love. Is that giving you love? Is that giving you joy? That's the choice that you need to do. Like I said, you'll get to a point where you're like, I don't give a rat's ass, because it's just giving me so much love and joy and purpose and understanding that I need to do these readings. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you choosing? To live or to die?
Yes. What are you choosing? Let us know in the comments down below.
Obviously, I choose. And you're choosing to live, right?
I'm choosing to live. Yeah. I'm choosing myself.
And through hard times and whatever. I mean, if you're going through hard times, we're sending you prayers. If you're going through a difficult time, we're definitely sending you prayers. And we're not saying that you have to do all and end all, but even just cuddling up, being if you have to be in bed right now, then that's okay. Do you know what I mean? You can have another choice tomorrow. It doesn't mean that you have to choose right now. Do you know what I mean? What resonates with you, what resonates with you. And maybe it's like you need to ask people, please acknowledge me. I don't need you to fix something for me. I just need some acknowledgement right now. And a lot of times the choices can be different just from that phrase. Yeah. And that's a powerful question. Your hair. It was funny because I went to go get my hair dyed, the roots or whatever. And one of the ladies, because I get along with all the hairdressers, beautiful people. One of them said, "You're dyeing your hair pink?" And I said, "What? No." And they said, "That would be cool if you dyed your hair pink, like a light pink or whatever." And I'm like,
that's so funny.
Could be a choice. I won't. But it's like seeing you in a different way. So someone else could give you a choice too. Do you know what I'm saying? That you didn't even think of. You don't have to do all the choosing. Someone else could come up to you and say, you're really good at solving crimes. You should be a detective. Or you're really good at being a psychologist. You should be a psychologist. Or you're really good at pets. Or you're really good with kids. Did you ever think of? And that might put a fire in you and go, you know what? I don't have to choose everything just for me. It could be choices for, I'm not saying to choose because someone else is making you choose. You could choose because it makes you have love and joy by volunteering at a homeless place or doing design.
Yeah, I know that sounds like finding
or expressing
how to be of
myself in
service.
different colors and hairs and whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, we want to give you blessings and smiles. And like I said, if you have other topics or discussions with us, two lovely ladies that talking about spirituality, give us some ideas. Until then, we love you and blessings.
Sending
and
lots and love and joy your way.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.